couple weeks back, my wife and me decided to do this crazy project that is building a van and then leaving west for the summer. That was not a very long thought process to get there, but once we set our mind on it, we got to the task, found the van, and turned it into something that we could live into. And here we are a couple weeks later. I am living in the van, and my wife will soon be rejoining me. My wife Patricia was not able to leave as soon as I have because she has some obligations for her work, but this gives me a good opportunity to ride some of the rowdiest stuff, which I will not get to ride once she gets there, or at least not as often. In case you don't know, crossing Canada by road is a pretty long adventure, and it's not always exciting. While there are mountains on both ends, the middle is a very long, flat, not very eventful area, which is called the prairies, and that takes about 2 days to cross depending on how fast and how long you're willing to drive in a day. Overall, crossing all the way from Quebec City, which is not exactly all the way on the east coast, to Fernie, which is also not exactly on the west coast, took me about 5.5 days, and that represents about 4,000 kilometers. While my original intentions were to cross as fast as possible so that I would maximize the time I had for riding, I ended up slowing things down quite a bit just to enjoy the process a bit more and also to spend some time with friends I met along the way. Regardless, after 5 days straight of driving, when I came into Alberta, into this region called Crowsnest, and I saw this sign that said trailhead this way, I knew this was my cue. Despite the fact that it was already pretty late in the day, I decided to unload my bike, unpack my gear, and go for a lap. Little did I know, the sun sets much later in BC than it does in Quebec, which means I ended up doing more than one lap, and also one from the very top, which was really fun. While I did feel a bit rusty on the bike due to not riding much since I was building the van in the last weeks, it did feel great to get out, have a little fun, pedal a bit, break a sweat, and the trails overall were amazing.
Right, let's fire this up. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. Okay, there's a flow to have in this trail, which I do not have right now, because I don't know the trail, and I'm not a good jumper anyway. But man, no bueno. Oh yeah. I guess we'll just cruise down this trail and not get crazy on the jumps, I guess. Oh yeah. Whoa. Oh, that's dusty, man. That's a very dusty trail. It's a bit on the slippery side. Man, it feels so good to ride when you've been static for a couple of weeks. Oh yeah. Yeah. Driving somewhere, you see indications to a trail, you just go. Otherwise, I'd be missing out on this one. Kind of have to be careful because all of the dust really makes it slippier than what you get in Quebec. This corner can just throw you off, no problem.
After my first lap, I realized there was still plenty of sunlight left, so I decided to head back up for another lap. However, on the way up, I met this trail running lady who told me about these trails starting from all the way up the mountain. So I decided to head all the way up, and let me tell you, that was the right move. The trails starting from the top were absolutely amazing, and I had a blast going down. Also, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you about the views, which make for such a big part of the experience in the Rockies.
So we've got this trail called Buck 50. Sounds nice. Let's do Buck 50. It's really fun. This is a two-way trail. Okay. That's an amazing mix of old school and new trail. It's really flowy, but also kind of narrow, like really beginner friendly. Whew. Oh yeah. But it's fun. This is a two-way trail. Still is. Oh yeah. We said no big gap for today. Ooh, that's weird. Hey, hey, Mr. Crow. I'm guessing that's why it's called a crow's nest. Is it not? Yeah, buddy. You're right.
Overall, Crowsnest was just what I needed. Well-built, accessible trails just to get me back on the saddle after a couple of weeks off. From there, I still need to work my way west towards Vancouver next week or so. I'll be stopping along the way, getting as much riding under my belt as possible. I'll be sharing some more moments of this trip shortly. Until then, thank you for joining the adventure, and I'm hoping to see you next time.